The story starts in 1989. Mike O'Donnell, a popular high school basketball player, is shooting hoops solo in the gym. Coach Murphy walks in and tells him not to overdo it. There's a scout coming to the game, and Mike's practically guaranteed a scholarship. The team gathers for a group photo, but Mike holds them up, insisting they wait for Ned, the team's water boy. Despite some eye rolls, Mike includes him. Ned arrives wearing a wizard outfit, fresh off a dungeon master session with his friends. Everyone mocks him, but Mike has his back and stands by his best friend. Just as the photo is taken, a player gives Ned a wedgie, catching him off guard. Before the game, the cheerleaders do their routine, and Mike hams it up by dancing along. He spots his girlfriend Scarlet in the bleachers and rushes over to her, expressing how much the game and the scholarship mean to him. He even shows off a special move he made up just for her. But Scarlet seems uneasy. When he pushes her to talk, she finally shares something big that completely stuns him. Once the game begins, Mike is visibly distracted. He just stands there with the ball, completely spaced out. The audience and coach are baffled. Then he sees Scarlet walking away. Without hesitation, he tosses the ball and chases after her. The scout shuts his notebook, realizing Mike just threw away his big chance. Mike catches up and tells Scarlet he's choosing her over everything else. She tells him he has a future, but he insists she and their baby are his future. She tries to leave, but he stops her with a kiss. Fast forward 20 years. Mike wakes up at his friend Ned's place. Ned's now loaded, and his house is filled with collectibles. He even dresses like an elf. They talk about Mike's crumbling life. Scarlet kicked him out, his kids avoid him, and they're getting divorced. Mike is holding on to hope because of a possible promotion at his job in a pharmaceutical company. At work, Mike joins a meeting where the boss, Dean, introduces a new product, a drug for prolonged erections. Mike expects to get promoted, but Dean surprises everyone by giving it to Wendy, a newer employee. Mike is stunned. When he confronts Dean, pointing out his seniority and performance, Dean brushes it off with a fake compliment. Mike loses it and smashes Dean's Bluetooth headset. The next scene shows him holding a box of his belongings. He's clearly been let go. Feeling low, he heads to his old school gym. He stands in silence staring at the trophy case and finds the team photo from 1989. A janitor notices him and says people return to relive the past. He asks Mike if he wants a redo. Mike says yes. Suddenly, the school bell rings and Mike's daughter Maggie shows up. He looks back and the janitor has vanished. Mike says he wants to take his kids for ice cream and basically forces them to come. At the kiddie ice cream shop, Mike, Maggie, and Alex sit at a table, not really interacting. Maggie is annoyed and puts in earphones. Alex keeps playing on his handheld console. Mike asks about basketball, thinking Alex is on the team, but he's not. The conversation turns awkward when Mike finds out Maggie got into Georgetown. She pretends not to hear him. When he drops them off, they leave without a word. In the yard, Mike sees Scarlet tossing his stuff into a wood chipper. She's redesigning the yard for her new landscaping business. He objects, but she brings up all his half-finished projects, like a half-built barbecue and a hammock he never completed. She accuses him of blaming her for everything. He confesses he's unhappy with how life turned out. She reminds him,
I never asked you to marry me.
Yeah, but I did.
Scarlet gets really sad. As tensions rise, her friend Naomi shows up. Naomi and Mike exchange sarcastic greetings. Naomi encourages Scarlet to start dating again. Scarlet says goodbye and heads inside. Mike leaves, completely deflated. Driving through a storm, Mike's radio malfunctions. He hears the janitor's voice again. On a bridge, he sees someone ready to jump and slams on the brakes. It's the janitor. A truck blocks the view for a second, and when it passes, the man's gone. Mike rushes to the edge and sees a whirlpool with his younger self reaching up. He falls in. Soaked and muddy, Mike shows up at Ned's house. As he showers, he catches his reflection and screams. He's 17 again. Ned wakes up and sees a strange teen in his house. Thinking he's an intruder, he grabs a weapon and attacks. They brawl with various nerdy props. Mike tries to explain who he is by revealing things only the real Mike would know. Ned is skeptical, thinking it's a stalker. But then he notices their old graduation photo. Everything clicks. After running through every fantasy and sci-fi explanation, Ned decides this must be magic. A spirit guide must have sent Mike back to fix his life. Mike realizes the janitor is his guide. He rushes to Hayden High to find him, but meets a janitor who says she's the only one there. She's confused when he shows her his own photo from decades ago. He notices Alex in the hall and calls out, but Alex runs off. Mike follows a trail of water to the gym, realizing it's all connected. Back home, he tells Ned he knows what to do: return to high school. Ned thinks it's a terrible idea. But cut to Ned, dressed up, pretending to be Mike's dad at the school office. While waiting, Ned critiques Mike's outfit, but Mike stands by his Kevin Federline look. They meet Principal Jane Masterson. Ned is instantly smitten and awkwardly flirts. Mike, now going by Mark, is accepted into school. Ned's flirt game is so bad he even asks to sniff Jane's hair. Mike has to drag him out. Walking through school, students are amused by Mike's outfit. Ned is now invested, offering to help Mike fit in. The next day, Mike rolls up in an Audi R8 and cool clothes. Maggie's friends take notice. While Mike's in school, Scarlet calls about their divorce hearing. He tries to lie, but cheerleaders in the background ruin it. Maggie sees him and is confused by the new kid waving at her. Later in gym, Mike finds out he still has his old basketball skills and feels amazing. Coach Murphy, now older, calls Mike and invites him to try out. In the restroom, Mike finds Alex taped to a toilet. Mike gets furious when he learns the basketball team did it. Mike frees Alex and walks with him to lunch. They bond over food, and Mark got to know that Alex has a crush on the head cheerleader Nicole, and Mike gives Alex advice about girls. Things get awkward when Mike slips up and says,
"When I first met your mother, I was so nervous."
You met my mother.
Is your mom hot? Dude, what? Joking.
Next, Stan and his crew enter, bullying kids. Mike finds out Stan has been at their house and learns that Maggie is dating him. When Stan starts picking on Alex, Mike intervenes with a mature, cutting speech that humiliates Stan.
Stan has a small wiener.
He then shows off his basketball skills, earning respect from everyone. Back at Ned's, Mike eats a wild sandwich and reflects on his kids' issues. He realizes helping them is part of his mission. He visits Scarlet's house, watches Alex play basketball, and is impressed. Scarlet shows up and notices how much Mark looks like Mike. Naomi pulls Scarlet away, but Scarlet tries to sniff him to figure it out. Naomi stops her and tells her to forget Mark and start hooking up with someone new. Mike throws a basketball at Naomi for that. The next day, in class, Mike catches Maggie and Stan kissing. The topic is abstinence. Mike goes on a heartfelt rant about love, kids, and commitment. It gets emotional. Some girls return the condoms the teacher handed out. Stan, however, mocks it and starts kissing Maggie. Mike attacks him. They fight and Mike loses, getting filmed and going viral. He's called to the principal's office and Ned joins, still dressed ridiculously. He says it's part of a peacocking technique to attract Jane. Later, Mike visits Scarlet again and offers to help with her backyard. She finds it odd when he calls her Scar, a name only her husband uses. Over time, Mike helps with the yard, coaches Alex, and keeps Maggie away from Stan. Meanwhile, Ned keeps trying to win Jane's heart with cringe gestures that mostly creep her out. Eventually, Mike and Alex make the basketball team. Scarlet praises her son, and Mike joins in, getting too familiar. Scarlet says she's going dancing on a date. Mike asks her to teach him how to dance and switches the music to their wedding song. She's confused but dances with him. He asks if she'd consider getting back with her husband. She says probably not. They're interrupted by Alex, who's weirded out. Scarlet's date arrives and Mike roasts him. Before she leaves, Scarlet gives him the divorce papers to pass on to Mike. Stan later shows up for Maggie, and Mike insists Alex come along. At the party, Mike pushes Alex to approach Nicole, the cheerleader he likes. Alex's pants catch fire and he runs off. Meanwhile, Maggie's friends try to seduce Mike, but he shuts them down. He finds Maggie and warns her about her future with Stan. He gets so upset he forgets he's supposed to be her classmate, not her dad. During a basketball game, Scarlet and her date watch from the stands. Mike spots Stan kissing Maggie and gets emotional. Fueled by anger, he plays hard and closes the gap. At the last moment, instead of passing to Stan, Mike gives the ball to Alex, who scores the winning shot.
Alex becomes a hero. After the game, Ned asks Jane out and promises to behave. She agrees, under conditions.
Mike throws a party to help Alex impress Nicole. Later, he finds Maggie crying alone in the amphitheater. When he asks, she says Stan dumped her for not having sex with him. He explains to her that when we're young, we feel it's the end of the world, but it's not. He says she might meet a few more jerks, but one day she'll meet someone who treats her the way she deserves. Maggie becomes happy hearing Mike and tries to kiss him, but Mike stops her and invites her to the party. At the party, Stan shows up drunk and tries to win back Maggie. She rejects him. Mike steps in, gets punched out by Stan, and wakes up with Maggie caressing his head. She tries to kiss him and he panics, telling her he has a girlfriend. Scarlet arrives looking for Alex. Mike tells her he has a girlfriend now. Alex and Nicole kiss each other. Then Mike kisses Scarlet in the heat of the moment. Maggie sees it and is horrified. Scarlet slaps him. Mike yells he's really her husband, not some random kid. She yells at him and walks away, and Maggie slaps him, followed by her friends. Jane also storms off after seeing the crowd at Ned's house and yells that the party is over, telling all her students to leave. She also scolds Ned and says that's why she doesn't date her students' parents. Mike apologizes Ned, and they share a moment of regret. The next morning, Ned and Mike talk about the fallout. Mike has 20 minutes before the divorce hearing. Ned drives him like a maniac to court. Pretending to be Mike's lawyer, Ned gets them thrown out. Mike insists on reading a letter from himself. Scarlet asks the judge to hear it. Mike reads a heartfelt note, admitting his failures. He says he knows she wants to do this today, but he doesn't want to, ending by saying he should let her go if it makes her happy. Scarlet asks the judge to postpone the divorce. She finds the letter was actually just the address of the court. Later, she finds Mike's ring and a note that says, "I wish I could finish all the things I started." At the school gym, Mike is back on the court. The game begins. Scarlet and Maggie arrive. Stan looks at Maggie. She tells her mom she can't wait to go to Georgetown to start dating college boys. Mike looks at Scarlet. Maggie says to Scarlet she thought Mark was hanging out with Alex to get to her, not her mom. Ned confesses to Jane he doesn't want to lose her. He wears a cloak of invisibility so no one can see him. I'm joking. I mean to charm her again. During the game, Mike sees Scarlet. He does the same special pose he once made for her. She is shocked and walks away, just like before. Mike gives the ball to Alex and chases after her. As he runs, he starts transforming back. Scarlet finds him and realizes it's really Mike. He says he wants to be with her, and they kiss. Alex leads the team to victory. A few days later, Mike thanks Ned and finds Jane in Ned's bed, both of them wearing elf ears. Mike is now the new basketball coach. Ned gives him a new whistle. The story ends on a fresh start.